Hello, everyone. This is Frank Barone with Mayor Group. We really, truly appreciate you jumping on to our quick lunch and learn with Velixo. We are excited to have Gabriel present this for us today. So with that, I'm going to kind of let Gabriel take over and present Velixo to us.
Thank you, Frank, and welcome everyone to this Lunch and Learn on Velixo Reports for Acumatica. Before I start, I'd like to thank the entire team at Mayor Group for organizing this Lunch and Learn and having me present Velixo to you today. My name is Gabriel Michaud, and I am the founder of Velixo. I spent pretty much all my life working on ERP software, and I started working with Acumatica back in 2009, so a little over 10 years ago now. My company became the first reseller of Acumatica in Canada. I'm based in Montreal, by the way. And over the years, I've worked on multiple implementations of Acumatica and also on multiple integrations and customizations of the product. I'm a software developer. I really enjoy building solutions like the one I will be showing you today. Velixo is a project that I started in 2010 after having worked at Acumatica for a few years. And today it has become the most popular add-on in the Acumatica ecosystem with over 500 customers worldwide. We work with business partners like Mayor ERP, and we have other partners and employees working with us worldwide. The story behind Velixo goes back around 2002, 2003. I was working on a different ERP application, and one of the things that we were trying to improve in that application was reporting. We had a standard reporting tool and a set of reports in the application, but our customers were complaining that they were not flexible enough, that some of the information they need is missing, or that it was not formatted exactly the way they wanted. After doing some research, we discovered that many of our customers were actually exporting data to Excel and then building reports that looked and worked exactly the way they wanted. After a few attempts at improving our reporting tool, we pretty much realized that we were not going to be replacing Excel anytime soon. And someone on my team had a very interesting suggestion. What if we could integrate Excel with our application? This is where I first got introduced to the idea of integrating Excel with an ERP application. And this became the basis for what you will see today with Velixo Reports. I'd like to point out that Velixo Reports was built from the ground up for Acumatica, so it's a brand new solution. It has nothing in common with the old product I was talking about. However, the idea is the same, and all the experience that I gained building and supporting this on a different product has helped me build a better solution for you today. Velixo is also a tool that was built for Acumatica only, and to me this is quite important. When I start the demo, you will see that we have an Acumatica toolbar and a set of functions that are specially designed to work with your Acumatica GL, projects, and generic inquiries. Furthermore, our focus on Acumatica allows us to leverage the best and the unique capabilities of Acumatica. So you will see things such as Smart Drill Down, the Unified Security Model, and Write Back that are made possible thanks to the very tight integration that we have with Acumatica. As I was mentioning earlier, Velixo is the #1 solution on the Acumatica marketplace. You can take a look on acumatica.com. If you search for Velixo, you can read some of the reviews from our customers. I'm always pleased when I receive an email message from one of our users or a partner and see the impact that our solution can have on the the life and the reporting experience of our users. We've also won many awards over the years. This picture was at the last Acumatica Summit, back when it was still possible to meet in person. And we won 4 different awards at the last summit, and it was very good to catch up with our partners and customers and meet prospective Acumatica users as well at the same time. As you will see during my demonstration, Velixo is very simple to use. To me, its user friendliness is one of the top qualities of Velixo. It takes just a few seconds to get started. You double-click to install, and then you just need to log in to start building your own spreadsheets. If you know Excel, you can do it. You don't need to be a programmer or an expert in BI. Velixo is meant to be used by you, an Excel user. If you're a CFO, a controller, a project manager, this is a tool that you will be able to master in no time. With that said, I would like to start my demonstration right away. So let's close PowerPoint and add to my desktop. Thanks again to everyone that has joined today. I will be happy to answer questions as we go through the presentation. So there is a Q&A section. Make sure to ask questions there. So if I can see and answer the question on the fly, I will do so. Otherwise, towards the end of the presentation or as a follow-up call, I'll be happy to work with Frank at Mayor ERP and follow up on your questions. You should see my computer desktop now. So what I will do first is install Velixo on my computer. This is always how I start my presentations because I want you to experience the simplicity of Velixo and how quickly you can get started with this tool. While this is installing, I would like to mention that a single Velixo license will cover every user within your organization. Actually, you could even give access to your external accountants or anyone that has an Acumatica login. There is no extra cost for additional users or installations. We follow an unlimited user licensing model, just like Acumatica. Let's click Finish and create a new spreadsheet. Perfect. After starting Excel, you will notice that you have a new item in your menu bar. It says Acumatica, so it is impossible to miss. This is where you will be accessing some of the key features in Velixo, starting with the Connection Manager. I just created a new spreadsheet, so what I want to do first is link or connect this spreadsheet to Acumatica. You just need to click Add Connection and then fill out the required fields. In my case, I'm working with a new spreadsheet, but you might have existing spreadsheets that you've built before and that you want to link to Acumatica. Literally everyone uses Excel. I think there's close to 1 billion installations of Excel worldwide. So you are more likely using it for something. And I'm sure you will be happy to know that you can leverage all the time that you spent in your current spreadsheets and link these spreadsheets to Acumatica. So let's just type my username and my password. And I would like to highlight that the username and the password here that I'm entering are the same credentials that I'm using whenever I want to log in to Acumatica from my web browser. This is pretty important to mention because it's not just about the username and the password. It's also all the permissions and access rights that were set up for you in Acumatica that will be applied to your reports in Excel. Let's say you only have access to the purchases section or projects or finance. The same restrictions will be in place for reporting in Excel. If you only have access to specific companies or branches, again, same thing. Finally, Acumatica includes something that is very powerful called restriction groups. And restriction groups allow you to get very granular with your security and basically block specific GL accounts segments, sub-accounts, and so on. You set this up in Acumatica, and then when you log in to Excel, to Acumatica from Excel as an Acumatica user, obviously you need to use the right password. I made a typo. Well, I will only have access to what has been granted to me from Acumatica. So let's give it a second. Good. So I have a single connection now. Simply want to mention that you can also add additional connections from a single workbook. If you have multiple Acumatica tenants, this means that you can create consolidated reports across multiple tenants and even multiple Acumatica instances. Let's close that. And let's build something simple together. I'd like to have a trial balance with 3 columns. So a list of all my accounts with the account name or description, and then the current balance. To calculate the balance, I will be filtering on a few things. First, the ledger. We'll be looking at the actual ledger. Later on, I might want to filter on a branch or company. So let's add that as well. And finally, let's add the financial period, very important. Good. So now I simply need to list all my Acumatica GL accounts. I could, type them manually one by one, but that's not very efficient. So let's use something that's much faster. In the tools section, I have insert chart of accounts. This button is very simple. You click there, insert, and you'll get the list of all the accounts. Behind the scenes, if you look at the cell A5, you will notice that there's a formula that was added by Velixo. This is one of the functions that we had to Excel, and this function here, in this case, gives you a list of accounts. It's dynamic, so if you add new accounts in your chart of accounts, the next time you refresh this report, it will appear and it will show up. It will show you the new account in the spreadsheet. Let's continue and now display the account name for all the accounts that you see here. I will type equal account name. So notice that Excel shows me that there's a function that returns the name of a GL account. This is something that we add to Excel and that will work with Acumatica. It's very simple. You just need to select the account code in A5 and press enter, and instantly you will see the account name. Now let's finalize the report and calculate the balance. As you might have guessed, we are going to use another Excel function to calculate the balance. You could locate the function by simply typing equal balance, and you'll see that we have a function to get the beginning balance and another one for the ending balance. Another convenient way, or actually something that you'll find very useful as a new user, is the insert function button right here. When you click on insert function, and by the way, this is a standard Excel feature, it's not unique to this product, you can see all the functions available, and the Acumatica specific stuff is listed right here at the bottom. So we have functions covering general ledger, financials, projects, number 2, and finally, generic inquiries. There's a few helper functions, but I will not be focusing on these. So let's just go to GL, look for account ending balance, and press OK. The functions are simple to use. Once you understand how one function works, you pretty much understand all of them. You always need to specify the connection name. And for a GL calculation, I need my ledger. It's right here. My account code. I can filter by sub-account if I want, but I will just leave this blank for now. I will include every sub-account, my branch, and my financial period. There's a few additional arguments. So you already saw the sub-account. Then there's an option to include unposted transactions if you'd like. But this can all be left blank if this is not important to you. By default, you will get posted transactions. All the functions are documented. So if you have questions, be sure to click help right here. and this will open the Velixo support website. It is support.velixo.com. It's a public website, by the way, so you can take a look after the presentation today if you want to see what's available and understand a few things yourself. So for this function, you will see detailed documentation on all the arguments. Okay, so the period, it can be a date or financial period, and then you have examples. On the same website, you will also find how-to guides. As a new user, this will help you learn Velixo, and you can also watch some of the videos that you have. They are on this website and on the Velixo YouTube channel, but the video will show you, for example, how to download Velixo, how to retrieve account names, and then you can progress to the more advanced features of Velixo, including write back, report distribution, and my favorite, drill down. Let's go back, format, copy down, and that's it. We're done. Just to recap, we created a new file, we added a connection, then we listed all the account codes, we retrieved the account name, and finally, we calculated the account balance by using a function called, right here, account ending balance. At this point, my report is done. Okay, I can save it, reopen it in 1 week or simply tomorrow. And the only thing that I have to do if I want to see up-to-date information, fresh data from Acumatica, is click refresh all right here. That's it. It's that quick. At this point, your report is also completely live. So if you want to look at a different financial period, you can change it here, press enter. Don't close your eyes, it's very fast. That's it. If you want to look at actuals versus budget, you can copy paste the column, change a ledger, and then everything will update and recalculate. It works just like Excel because it is Excel. So if you want to add your own calculation, so let's say you want to compare actuals versus budget, you can add this calculation here. And now this will refresh and update anytime you change the values here. I showed you earlier that you can filter by branch, company, or sub-account. Well, let's do that. I will filter on this branch here, Services East. And you can see that everything was recalculated. Velixo allows you to group together multiple branches, accounts, sub-accounts by using ranges or wildcards. And I would like to show you a few examples because this is pretty important to understand. I will insert blank row here and first show you how you can include two accounts. So let me change to the wholesale division and include 10,100 and 10,800. So you can list multiple accounts and you just need to put a semicolon between the account codes and copy paste, and the system will add both accounts. Okay, so you can verify it's $4.491 million right here. You can enter a range. So if you want everything from 10 to 50 up to 10,750, you can list the account code and put a column between both codes. Wildcards are also possible. So let's say everything that starts with 1. And then you can mix and match the different combinations and possibilities. So you could have a unique code, then a wildcard, and then a range. That is definitely possible. You can even exclude or subtract accounts. So if you want everything in the asset class except 10,200 and 10,300, you can put minus. As you can see, everything is very quick, it's real time, it's fast, and it's also very simple. Once you understand this, you pretty much understand everything in Velixo, or at least all the important things that you need to know to build financial reports. I would now like to switch to a different file that I will use for the second part of my demo. Let's open, by the way, this is a sample that you can download from the Velixo website. I will type my password and press OK. Perfect. So this is a full reporting package that we built to highlight what's possible with Excel and Acumatica. As you can see, we're making use of nice layout, nice formatting. I've added a drop-down here because I want to be able to quickly look at different branches. But when I change that, it's dynamic, it refreshes, it hides 0 lines, and so on. We also have multiple sheets within the package. This is something that people find quite important when building board packages. So you will need to have your income statement, your balance sheet. You might want to have different views of the same data. So let's say 12-month P&L, then some dashboards, maybe a cash flow statement. And Excel makes that really easy. You just add additional sheets, and once this is part of your report, well, everything becomes a one-click refresh. So let's do it. And 1, 2, boom, the entire financial package is now refreshed. We provide many additional tools in the Acumatica toolbar that will make your life easier. And I would like to show you some of these tools, starting with a feature that we call Smart Drill Down. Smart Drill Down is what you will be using when you want to reconcile or check the numbers on your spreadsheet. So let's take this total here, total expenses. This is a sum of eight rows, and each of these rows might include multiple GL accounts. So what if you want to verify the transaction details in Acumatica? Well, with Velixo, it's very easy. You click the total, go to the Acumatica toolbar, and hit drill down. And drill down will analyze the formula that you were looking at, and it will identify each and every cell in the spreadsheet that include Acumatica data. For each cell, we give you a breakdown by GL account, sub-account, and branch. So in this case, this is D20. So let's just go back. This is salaries. And for salaries, you have a few GL accounts and multiple branches included. It shows you a summary, so beginning, ending balance, and activity. And then if you want to look at the transaction detail for any of these lines, let's say this one here, travel, you just have to click on View Transactions. And then Acumatica shows you the transaction details, and you can even drill down by clicking on the reference number, and Acumatica will show you the full transaction. So this is one night at the Hilton. We can immediately see that the amount matches what we have in Excel. And since we are now in Acumatica, we can access all the great tools and features of Acumatica. For example, the ability to attach files. So here's my receipt, 20173. Let's go back to Excel. This is exactly what I have here. And let's click on the reference to the cell. This is exactly what we have here as well, rounded to the nearest dollar. Thanks to Smart Drill Down, you can go from any cell in your spreadsheet back to the original document or transaction inside your Acumatica ERP. Beyond financials, Velixo also works with other modules of Acumatica. We have a set of project functions that work with the project accounting module. Let me open that. Log in. I'll show you what's possible there. Give it a second. I think that my server is having a lunch break. Coming. Actually, I don't need to log in. I can just show you the data that we have that will be centered. Good. Okay, so the project report that we built using Velixo and Excel. So this is just to highlight the different project functions that are available. So you can build project portfolio or program summaries. And then let's take a look just at this cell here, actual expenses to date. So this is using a function called project ending amount. Same concept that you saw with the GL. This time we are working with projects, tasks, account groups, cost codes, inventory item, and periods. So the same dimensions that you find in the Acumatica project module for reporting. You can access budgets, actuals, hours, quantities, and then you can build reports like this one, detailed project reports, WIP reports, and so on. So this is part of the Velixo offering. If you're using the project module of Acumatica, you will be able to use that. Something else that we also offer is the ability to link your spreadsheets to any generic inquiries. And this can become useful if you want to include AP or AR aging, inventory information, or simply a detailed transaction list for a given GL account directly in your spreadsheets. You can take any generic inquiry that you have in Acumatica. Let's take this one as an example, bills and adjustments, and bring the entire content of this GI to your spreadsheet. If you are not familiar with generic inquiries in Acumatica, this is what it looks like. Anytime you open a page in Acumatica and you see this list-based entry screen, it is a generic inquiry or GI behind the scenes. So the reason it is called generic is because you can build your own inquiries or modify the existing inquiries by clicking the customization section here. It's simpler than it looks. You can add your own fields and columns. And what's also very interesting is that you can also make these inquiries visible to Excel. And then by simply taking the name here, you can go to your spreadsheet, then type equal GI name, and press enter. And Excel will retrieve, you can see it loading, it will retrieve the contents of this generic inquiry and make it available in the spreadsheet. As you can see, I have every single column, so you might only be interested in having a few things like the type, the reference number, the vendor, status, and the amount. Reference, typo here, reference number. So it's very easy to change that again by using the formulas. And then you can build your own calculations. Let's say totals. I'll do a sum of this column. Let's format. And then this is something that will become part of your reporting package and that will refresh with everything else that you have in your spreadsheet. You could even add filters. So if you want to filter by vendor, you can add that as well. So let's say you only want to look at Edison Power. You can add a GI filter in your formula. So AP bills and adjustments. And then you want to filter on the vendor, and the vendor is here. So just like that, I filtered on the vendor, and now you can see that my total changed as well when I change that. So let's do it another time. You can see that it refreshes. Pretty simple, very powerful as well. Some examples of what our customers are building with this tool. I have this one here, that's a GL transaction detail. So if you need to list all the transactions as part of a reporting package for like the entire branch or just a specific set of accounts, you can do that. So this is a dynamic spreadsheet. And again, everything will refresh based on the filters that I have here. So if you only want to look at accounts that start with 6, do that here. You press enter and it refreshes right away. So this is our generic inquiry support. And then in the Acumatica toolbar, we have 2 additional modules that I want to mention and cover today. One of them deals with report distribution. Imagine that you have a reporting package like the one that you have on screen, and that every month you need to generate the same report for all your branches or business units. So I have Services East, Services West, I have consolidated. So I need to take this report and email the P&L out to everyone inside my organization. Now imagine that you don't have like just 5 branches, you have 100 branches, and then you have board members that need to receive something else, and your lenders that want to have a slightly different view of the data. This can become a very cumbersome and manual process, and this is why we build the distribution list feature. Actually, I'd like to point you to my blog at velixo.com. I use this analogy when presenting the feature not too long ago. It's the magical do everything for me button. And for some of our users, it is truly the case. They've been able to take a multi-day process and turn this down into a one-click operation. So let me show you how distribution looks like. You need to create a list like this one, where you will list all the reports that you need. For each of them, you just add a line, you specify the file format, file name, the tabs that you want. So you can include just a subset of the report if you want. The location, you can save somewhere on your computer or network. You can email. And then you can also set a password, add attachments, and you can even change filters on the report. In my case, I'm changing branch name, and branch name is simply a name cell that we have in the spreadsheet. So if I click that here, branch name, you'll see that it points me to the branch dropdown here. Effectively, when distribution runs, the system will go through all the branches and then generate the reports at this time. If you are building a project report, you could filter by project. If this is a commissions report, you could filter by salesperson. You can add as many columns as you want to this distribution list. So let's try it. I want to show you how cool it is. So now that you have the list, you can click distribute all. By the way, the elevator music is not included with the product, but everything else that you are seeing today, all the features, reporting functions, are included with Velixo. And again, it's a single license that covers every single user in your organization. That's it. It's done. So we just generated 6 reports. Let's click OK and take a look at what we have. I've set up the system to save emails to drafts. So if I open Outlook, I should see that I have 6 messages in my drafts folder. Good. Yeah. The first one is the consolidated report that I'm sending to my CEO. So let's open this one. My CEO is not very computer savvy, so he knows how to open Excel, but he will not be logging into Acumatica to refresh. So I sent him a static report that only includes values. So all the Acumatica specific functions have been removed. We only have the standard Excel formulas that are left in the spreadsheet. That's the first report. Then I have the same thing, but in PDF format for Bob. Okay, and I also included a dashboard, the income statement dashboard in this one. Jenny receives the Services East profit and loss because Jenny is managing the Services East branch. You can see that it is filtered and it is a single page PDF. And then finally, I generated 2 emails with no files. I just want to include a subset of my report and directly include that as part of the email message. Okay, so this is also possible. I have 2 examples here. One is just a simple table, and the other one was a full sheet with charts and images. Once again, this is called report distribution. You set up the list once, and then anytime you need to run reports, you click distribute all, and it will take care of doing everything. So while it is running, you can have a coffee or a pina colada if you prefer. The last thing that I would like to cover with you today is called write back. So far in my presentation, we've been looking at reporting, extracting the information and building reports from the data that we have in Acumatica. With WriteBack, you can also update data and post transactions. So let me show you a few examples of how this can be helpful. I'll start with budget WriteBack, and I'll create a new budget worksheet. Actually, before I create the budget worksheet, I just want to remind you that we looked at budget values earlier. So when we built the trial balance, if you recall, I changed the ledger here to budget. And this is how I was able to access my budget information from Acumatica. And it's the same thing here. In the P&L, I'm also recreating budgets by using the same functions and formulas. So now let's create a budget worksheet and look at how we can update this budget from Excel. So I'll create a new worksheet. And what you get is a blank spreadsheet. This is a template of your budget. You need to enter the branch, ledger, and then list out the accounts and sub-accounts that you want to budget. The real nice thing about Excel here is that you can add your own calculations and your own formulas. So maybe you want to base your budget on prior year actuals. So you could add prior year actuals here and then use account ending balance to retrieve that from Acumatica. So actual, and then my account is here, and then let's just say 12/2020. I can type that here. Well, yeah, okay, so we have $18,000. So you can add your own calculations, and then let's say you want to have a forecast percentage, plus or minus something, and you want to apply some seasonality. You could do that by using simple Excel formulas. I actually have a ready built example here that has my prior year actuals and then a percentage that I can modify and play with. And as you can see, my period by period budget is updated when I change this information. At the end of the process, when you are ready, you can submit this back to Acumatica by using the budget WriteBack import current worksheet button. Provided that you have the necessary permissions and access, the budget will be saved to Acumatica. By default, it is saved in a staging area, so it is still pending approval on the Acumatica side. But at this point, the budget is basically ready, and once you release it, it will become the budget that you see in your reports. You can have multiple budget worksheets. So if you have different teams working on different branches or different sections of the budget, this is absolutely possible. If you're using SharePoint or OneDrive as well, you can have multiple users editing and working with the same file simultaneously. And you can also use the standard Excel commenting functionality. It's much better in Excel 365, so you can tag people. You can just go there and say, Robert, please take a look. So if there's someone named Robert in your organization, Robert will have a to-do that will show up in his inbox. So this is for budget WriteBack. Then we have something called GL WriteBack, which is basically the same concept, but for journal transactions. If you click GL WriteBack New, you'll get a blank transaction worksheet that you can use for anything such as allocations, accruals, prepaids. If you have a journal entry from your payroll service that you need to import, well, you can use that. Again, the real nice thing is the ability to have functions, formulas, and templates that you can reuse monthly. So if there's allocation for, let's say, shared services, and then you want to allocate that to a branch, well, you could build this entry here, add the accounts, and then make some calculation, and monthly, you GL WriteBack import this sheet. If you have multiple allocations, you can even chain them and link them. And then in a single click, you could post all these allocations. Let's just create a simple transaction. So I will just have a small in and out entry. I'm not going to have any calculations or formulas. Okay, so just fill out the blanks, then GL WriteBack import. by default, you'll get a transaction that is in a draft transaction. It's on hold. It's not posted. So here it is. Then you can take it off hold and release it. Again, this is all based on your access rights and permissions in Acumatica. So that's called write back. So we do have write back for GL budgets, journal transactions, and we also do it for project forecast. If you do project forecasting, let me see if I still have the file open. No. Right here. So you can create your own project forecast by using this tool and then update the quantity, amounts, hours that is forecasted, and use the project forecast write back to update this. This completes the main part of my presentation. We've covered all the key features of Velixo. Before we wrap up, I would like to share with you some resources if you want to learn more about Velixo. The Velixo website is a good starting point. So it's at velixo.com. We have a blog that is frequently updated with information on new features, enhancements in the product. There's a support website that is also accessible from the Velixo website. And then we have a great YouTube channel, youtube.com. Just search for Velixo. There's a lot of videos. I did a live stream earlier this week to answer a question on program and portfolio management. So this was broadcasted live. We have customer case studies and testimonials. So make sure to click subscribe here if you want to stay informed of the latest in the Velixo or in the Acumatica world. By the way, we are releasing updates regularly. So once you have Velixo installed, you will receive a notification whenever there's a new version. So let me just show you what that looks like right here. So the next time Velixo gets updated, you'll see this window. You simply click update, and within a few seconds, you will be ready to use the latest version of Velixo. Right now, we are at version 6. So that means about like 1 or 2 updates a year since we first launched Velixo. I'd like to finish with like one last thing, something that is completely new, very exciting, and that might be useful to some users on this call today. Velixo now fully supports Excel Online and Excel for Mac. So if you're creating a spreadsheet from your browser by using Office 365, you can now access Velixo and use the Velixo functions from your web browser. So you'll see that Velixo appears here. It is still loading. Yep. So we have Velixo. You can now add a connection and build reports. And it's the same thing if you're using Velixo on a Mac. Let me just exit this and open Excel on my Mac. So let's just take a real life example. So if you are using a Mac with Excel, you can now connect. So I have my Velixo side panel here connecting. Let's give it a second. Then refresh all. So exact same experience that you saw earlier on Windows, on Excel for Windows. This is now available to Mac users as well. So let me change to Services East. As you can see, it refreshes. So same experience. Okay. So let's see. Do we have any questions that I could answer?
Yes, in the chat section, Gabriel, there is a question about integrating with Gmail for distribution features.
Let me open the live chat. Where is it?
Should be to your left, attendee chat.
Attendee chat. Perfect. Yeah, so the integration feature right now uses the default email client that you have, and it needs to be Outlook. Outlook can be linked to Gmail and can be connected, but if you want to use the one-click distribution by email, you will need to have Outlook linked with Gmail. Eventually, we might support the ability to send directly using an SMTP server, but this is not something that is available right now. Okay. Good. Someone is cleaning the office window right next to me, so please accept my apologies for the noise if you can hear someone knocking on the window.
If there's any additional questions, now is your time. If you do want to reach out to me at any point to set up a one-on-one with Gabriel, I would love to do that. If you have additional questions you want to think about, you can shoot me an email. We'll get them answered. Gabriel, I truly appreciate you stepping in and helping us do this. This presentation, we thought it was a fantastic presentation by you. Looks like there's another question I thought I saw. Let's see.
Question on pricing.
There's always that pricing question, yes.
The pricing of Velixo is based on your Acumatica license or resource tier. So it can be small, medium, large, X large, and so on. And it is for an unlimited number of users. As a starting point, is it okay if I mention pricing for a small resource tier?
Sure.
Yeah, so for the small resource tier, the pricing starts at $300 a month. And if you're on medium tier, it's $400 a month. So just as an example. And again, this is good for an unlimited number of users.
And based on the attendees, I think everybody would be in the medium range. So,
okay.
So, are there any additional questions before we close this out? Gabriel, I do believe I recorded this, so with your permission, I'd like to load this on our website so that people can reference it, access it, and rewatch it, because there was a lot of information that you reviewed, and it was very, very, very well done. So I truly appreciate that. So
thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure speaking to your customers today. And I'll be more than happy to answer follow-up questions or have follow-up demonstrations if requested.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.